Last month's video addressed tipping points that cause B2B accounts to become more and more unhealthy. This video focuses on actions you can initiate to turn unhealthy accounts into stronger accounts. We shared 7 recommendations in the webinar, and in this video, we focus on the first 3, saving 4 for next month. The 3 pragmatic recommendations we will cover are: number 1, identify and acknowledge problems; number 2, develop and implement a triage plan; and number 3, engage with client leadership. Let's take a closer look at these suggestions to enable you and your teams to significantly improve B2B account health.
As I mentioned, we have 7 pragmatic ideas, and we picked the number 7 because there are 7 days in a week, and that's what we can all handle without having to make a written down list. So let's take it away. Recommendation number 1, identify and acknowledge that you have problems. That's the first step. You need to have some information. You need to have those insights that something exists, both good and bad. So that's the first step. Now, how can you achieve that? Well, I mentioned earlier the REVOS solution. That model is predicated on using data and uncovering gaps and having the algorithms to identify where there could be some issues. AskForensics, we uncover key insights our clients just usually don't hear. Sales teams are great frontline teams to help identify where there could be issues, account teams as well. But first, you have to identify and acknowledge there's a problem. That is the first step. Renat, let's go to recommendation number 2. Develop and implement a triage plan. When an account is damaged, it's much like taking a patient to the emergency room. You have to stop the bleeding. You don't have a time to analyze. You have to stop the bleeding, stabilize the patient, and then start working on your plans to make that patient healthier. And that's exactly what it's like having to deal with a damaged customer. Now, what can you do? Well, first, when you identify some gaps that you can readily fix, do it right away. There could be one, there could be several. Who knows what those issues involve? But take immediate action to stabilize that account, and then you can begin to put together more of a triage plan to get you through some short-term immediate changes, say within 4 weeks, to move that account from a 1 to maybe a 3. But that's a huge movement of the needle if you can achieve that. So stop the bleeding and save the patient. Let's move on to recommendation number 3. Engage with client leadership. Your customers know there's a problem. I mean, they've shared it with your teams. Your teams may not fully understand the magnitude. You have other voice of the customer programs in place. Even if you don't, you have your gut instincts that some things are taking place. When you have that turnaround plan, even in an early stage, reach out to your customer. And the leadership level is most important. But you have a whole hierarchy of team members. So the day-to-day account relationship people could and should be interacting with their counterparts at the customer organization, and involve your leadership, regional, C-level, whatever's needed, to start reaching out with that client so they understand that you recognize there are issues and that you're working on revenues.